you essentially have the three guys that have written on, the Black Dahlia murder records. And this is the first time that you have all three writers on one record, which is why I
Mm,
say it's probably
mm,
one of the most diverse records, because this is
mm.
the first record that literally has pretty much the guys that have written collectively all the stuff for the past 10 records.
Greetings to our GC viewers. This is Ragin Rosie. Today we are speaking with Ryan. He is one of the mighty guitarists in the legendary band, the Black Dahlia Murder. Thank you so much for making the time to chat with Ghost Cult today, Ryan.
Yeah,
Welcome.
thanks for having me. No problem.
Yeah, we are excited to hear more about your new 10th full-length album, Servitude, coming out September 27th via Metal Blade Records. All right, let's dive right in. If you could sum up the new album in one sentence, what would you say?
Oh, that's hard. I would say it's probably our most diverse record yet, possibly. Check it out.
Okay. A little mystery there. That's
Yeah,
some
yeah,
intrigue.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. But I think that's fairly accurate. There may be another one or two that, right. I don't know though. I don't know. That's a
Okay.
hard one. That's a very hard one.
Yeah, yeah. We could maybe the more we talk about it, you'll come up with a,
Yeah.
idea and that can spark that. All right. So, Verminous, your last album came out in 2020. Since that time, we have all lost a dear band member, Trevor, may he rest in peace. What was it like making this new album without him?
I mean, it was obviously very odd. And I think like probably harder for all of us than we sort of show to each other, just because we're stoic males, maybe. But yeah, just odd. It's
Mm,
I mean it's like good to be all together though and have the camaraderie,
mm,
since like
yeah.
suffering, just such a loss. But yeah, it's always weird because I mean, all of us are so used to, we've all this will be my fifth record, and this will be Brandon's third, and everyone else, or other than Brian, everyone, this is Max and Alan's fifth. So, we're pretty much
Mm,
always used to like having, usually we would demo the songs and then Trevor's emailing you back lyrics, and
mm,
so, and just the whole process, we're kind of like used to having him around, like joking around and everything. So, yeah, it's been different. But at the same
mm.
time, it's been like, it's been good having like everyone together and working together, and just it makes maybe it a little bit easier.
Yeah. Do you think working together has provided a space for you to kind of process some of the loss?
I think so. And it's like, even like on tour, like Trevor comes up, like, we'll just be like joking around, and I'll be like, he would fucking hate this. Or like sometimes like I'll come up with, somebody will be listening to a record, or we'll be like putting on something and be like, man, he would always like jam this song, or I'll be like, man, I just discovered this. I wish I could like text him and like ask him what he thinks about
Mm,
this. Just all sorts of things like that. So it's like
yeah.
I feel
Yeah.
like he's like with us in spirit a lot of times.
Absolutely. I bet he is. What are some of the biggest differences between this record and your previous works?
I think maybe the biggest thing is, on this record you essentially have the three guys that have written on, the Black Dahlia murder records, and this is the first time that you have all three writers on one record, which is why I
Mm,
say it's probably
mm,
one of the most diverse records, because this is
mm.
the first record that literally has pretty much the guys that have written collectively all the stuff for the past 10 records. So yeah, I would probably say that. And obviously, this is Brian's first record after taking over the vocal spot. So that's going to be a huge one, probably the biggest
Yeah.
thing.
Mm,
And
mhm.
maybe the third thing is like this is the first record where we have two lead guitar players, Brandon and myself. So
Mm.
there's sort of like that element going on too. So yeah,
Yeah.
there's quite like a lot of new things popping up on this one.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. What are some of the main themes and concepts on that record?
I feel like I almost need to consult Brian on this one, but like basically we kept it to like Brian kept it to we basically kept most of the Black Dahlia songs in the past, we tell stories. All the songs are usually based on some kind of stories. They could be like horror themed stories, science fiction, fantasy at sometimes.
Mm.
Sometimes they're just about perverted, gross stuff. Sometimes they're about murder, just all sorts of stuff. So we pretty much
Right.
kept it to that. And as far as this record goes, you have the song Aftermath, which we've already put out. It kind
Mm.
of deals with like a bomb that's hit. If anyone's seen the music video, it's kind of gross and what transpired after that. And I feel like the lyrics to that are maybe even like a little, you can interpret them for yourself if people read them. Then you have like Mammoth's Hand, which is almost, we put that one out and it's almost more of like a fantasy based sort of thing. So yeah, they're kind of like all over the place, but they still tell a story. So I think really, even though like the vocals have changed, and obviously Brian's a different lyrical writer than Trevor is, the themes are pretty much intact for what we pretty much do. Yeah.
Is there any continuity between the numbers, or does kind of each one hold their own?
Each one kind of holds their own story. And I think if you read into them, most of them are telling us, most of them are pretty much telling a fictional story. And like I said, some of them, like Mammoth's Hand, if you read the lyrics to that, it's a fictional story. There's not a lot to interpret. Whereas a song like Aftermath, you can interpret that. Evening Ephemeral, again, like another, it's definitely pretty much a story. Not a lot to interpret. Some of these songs, I would say there's not a lot to interpret, or maybe there's like a couple songs that are.
How does the title Servitude connect with any of the themes or concepts?
That's another good question. So this is another one I would like to ask Brian about. But I think for me, for one reason, we named it Servitude. It keeps the 3-syllable thing, which we always have on all our records. But for me, I feel like somebody was asking me this earlier, and they're like, Servitude has like a usually has like a negative connotation. But I think in this respect for us, it's like us maybe like serving the band, serving the fan base. We're just doing our, we have all these things that just happen, and we're kind of like doing our best to just do the best we can right now with, like trying to make the best record possible, trying to, connect with the fans, reconnect maybe even with some of the fans, and just trying to like serve the band, the legacy of the band, and the fans.
Yeah, absolutely. And are there any movements or lyrics that are particularly emotional or close to you? Is there anything that you find yourself reflecting on this album?
Not so much lyrically, strangely enough. I'm going through some. I don't. There's a couple songs I don't know the lyrics as well to, but I'm going through like all the ones that I do, and not really. I think they're just. I think overall, I mean, like I just think Brian did like a really great job at like basically just writing the lyrics, creating a story that's memorable, that you can kind of maybe even like once you read the lyrics, listen to the song, you can kind of like play them in your head. You can kind of like see it happening. So I think people will be able to connect with the stories pretty well on this one.
Yeah. So this album, like some of the previous ones, have been recorded at Brandon's, the other guitarist's home studio, Shred of Light District. And what's it like playing at a fellow band member's place?
It's great. I think it just allows you to have a bit more comfort. There's just less stress because you're at one of like your bandmate's house. And another thing it adds is that like Brandon, like he knows what the band should sound like. He has like the same ears as like we kind of all have on. Like he knows what to look out for. For me, speaking as a guitar player, it's just very easy for us to like bounce things off each other. Like if I'm like this note sounds out of tune, or like this bend needs to like sync up with this, or just little things like that. It's just real easy for him as a person in the band to kind of like, he knows exactly what I'm saying. It's not, he knows exactly what to listen out for. And then, probably for Brian, he probably felt a bit more comfortable working with Brandon. Since he's again in the band, and like there weren't really any like time restraints really for the most part. I mean, we probably spent like 3 weeks at Brandon's house. I mean, we were there for a while, but yeah, it's always good to have somebody in the band recording with the band's best interest, who also has like sort of like the ears for what the band needs to sound like. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And what was the best part of making the new record?
It was good being at Brandon's house, just kind of like being we weren't all there. Alan wasn't there, but it was good being able to be there and just like have immediate communication about things, rather than, because sometimes like somebody will stay home until like it's their time to come. But since we were all there for better or worse, because we were there a long time, I was definitely ready to go home by the time we left. but it was good to just for us all to be there and the communications like direct. There's no emailing or texting, having to like Zoom someone. It's just like directly like, hey, does that sound like fucked up, or like what should we do here or there? just the direct communication. And then like some of us were in Nashville for a while, and that was nice just to be like down there. I used to actually move. I was living in Nashville a year ago, so like just being back there was good.
Mm,
And we were down there with Mark Lewis, who we've worked with in
mhm.
many times in the past. So good to be
Yeah.
down there with like Mark and everything. So yeah, overall just positive experience, just like tracking pretty much everything. Yeah.
Yeah, sounds like it. And what are you hoping the listeners might take away from listening to Servitude?
What I hope, basically, I just hope I hope it'll connect with everyone. I hope everybody like will really connect with the record and be like, wow, like this is definitely a new thing, but like these guys have like soldiered through and basically like,
Mm,
somebody asked me earlier if I felt like we had to like prove a point on this record. And I don't really feel like we have to prove a point, but at the same time, it's like, I guess on this one, it is kind of like we have to like be able to prove that like, yeah, we can still like put out, high quality material.
mm,
And I think people will be very surprised with Brian's vocal.
mm.
I think people are gonna really dig it.
Nice. Yeah. All right. You were in the band from '08 to 16. Now you're back since 2022. And what were some of the main motivations for this return?
Well, I've gotten this question a lot too. It was actually like a pretty easy return, I would say. Like when I originally left the band, I didn't leave for any one reason. I just got kind of burnt out. I felt like I just needed to like step away for a minute. And it was a really hard decision to leave in the first place. It was like a very, very hard decision. But
Mm,
and then when I left, I kind of just I guess I left it to just sort of like to fate, I was like, I don't know if I ever be back in this band, but who knows? And
mm,
then here we
mm,
are now. And I never would have thought I would have been back in this circumstance
mm,
billion
mm.
years. But basically when Brian asked me to rejoin, we were living in Nashville at the time. We were about to our son was not born yet, and he was about to be born. And we were considering moving here to Michigan, the Detroit metro area where I am now, where the band is based out of,
Mhm.
because my wife is from here. So basically, after all this transpired and Brian was like, "Hey, you want to rejoin?" I was like, "Yeah, sure." Like we're
Mm,
thinking about moving to Michigan. It's kind of like, I already had a job once I got here. So it was
mm.
pretty easy decision despite all, having to like move and all that. But other than that,
Yeah. Mm. Where are you in the Detroit area?
I am in Berkeley.
Okay, I'm in Ferndale.
Okay, yeah,
So
that's where
yeah,
Brian, yeah. That's where
yeah, right
Brian
down the
is in
street.
Ferndale. So yeah, I'm
All
not far
neighbors.
away at all. Yep.
Nice. And didn't you used to live in Chicago?
Yeah, I live in
Yeah.
Chicago. Me and my wife, but I lived there for almost 10 years, and my wife was there for like right out of high school. She was there for like over 10 years. So yeah, we were there for
Oh,
a while. Then
okay.
we moved to Nashville in 2018. I'm originally from Georgia.
Oh,
And
wow.
then yeah, now we're back in Metro Detroit.
Okay. That's so funny because I used to live in Chicago, then I moved to Nashville, then I moved to Detroit. So that's a
Okay.
little weird.
Yeah.
So maybe
Crazy.
the pilgrimage, I don't know. There's some, and it was
Yeah.
always music related. So I don't know, there might be something to it.
Yeah.
Detroit's a pretty cool town when it comes to
Yeah,
music.
I like
That's
it.
pretty cool.
I like it.
What makes you play and make music?
I think I just get a joy out of music. And even before I play, like my one of my best friend's babysitters used to babysit me this is like 91, 92. I'm like 8, 9 years old, and she's probably 17 or 18 at the time. This is, back in like the glory years of MTV. And it was
Mm,
also like at the end of hair metal before Nirvana came in and crushed all that, So,
yep.
so yeah, I grew up basically exposed to MTV, and I just really loved music, even from way back then. And then I started playing guitar when I was 12, and basically just became kind of obsessed with that. So I guess it just brings me like a lot of joy, just like pure
Mm,
joy, that really like hardly anything else brings me. I just really love to do it, despite like how hard it can be sometimes, just through basically everything. I just keep
mm,
doing it. So,
mm,
no, it's weird. Like at this point, like I've even done the thing when I was out of the band where like I was doing IT at Vanderbilt University in
mm,
Nashville for a while, and that was cool. I really
mm,
did like IT, and so I've done to the thing where like I've
mm,
traversed to a different career for a while, but like, once I got there and I figured out like I was like, man, like I do like doing this, but like at the end of the day, I was just like, I just don't feel like I'm
mm,
doing what I should be doing. So
mm,
just I guess just the joy. I just feel like in my heart, I guess this is like what I'm supposed to do. So
mm. Yeah, and that's evident in what you create, I'll say.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to the really hard questions now. So, if you were a character in Star Wars, who would you be?
Boba Fett. That's probably like one that's like, I feel like a lot of people would say that one at this point, but that's who I would be.
Okay, are you talking original Star Wars or Disney Star Wars? Both,
I'm
or
talking
is there a
about
difference to you? Okay.
original Star Wars, where he's like kind of like teetering on, he's kind of a bad guy, but not really. He's like teetering on bad guy. Yeah, I think maybe during that era.
All right, that's insightful. Okay. If you had a podcast, what would it be about?
Probably guitar. I would probably, honestly, if I had a podcast, it would probably just be like a lot of podcasts that I like to listen to, where I bring other guitar players on, or maybe probably just other musicians, not necessarily guitar players, and talk about life and music. That's probably what it would be.
Yeah, man. People would probably tune in. No, I would.
That's probably what
if you were, yeah, if you were on a desert island, what 3 TV shows would you bring with you?
Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
That's it.
No,
That's all you
there's
need.
more. There's more. Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Told you these weren't easy questions.
Maybe Dexter. I feel bad about saying that one for some reason, but I don't know. I enjoyed it. And
maybe it's the bad side of Boba Fett coming out.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. I like Unsolved Mysteries. I'm glad there's some new episodes out too. So yeah.
Nice. It's a good they'll keep you occupied for a while.
Yeah. No, you know what? I'm gonna swap out Dexter. Sopranos.
Okay.
Even though I've seen it a million times. Sopranos.
Okay. It's allowed. It's allowed. You can swap. Okay. Do you have a go-to karaoke song?
No, but I feel like every time I do it, it's usually like some Black Sabbath song. So
yeah, can't go wrong there. If you could collaborate with anyone, who would be your ideal musician collaboration?
There's like so many. I'd probably say Jeff Lynne from ELO. He's basically ELO, but Jeff Lynne. That's who it would be.
Okay. And if you had to guess, how many square feet of pizza is eaten in the US each month?
Oh, God.
If you just had to guess.
How many square feet?
How many square feet? You're in Detroit now. You got to, know these really important pizza questions. Take our pizza very seriously here.
I don't even, this is showing my, I just have no concept of measurement. Probably like, I don't even know, 200 million.
Did you really just guess that?
Yes.
Because that's exactly what it is.
Really? Yeah, I really have. I can't even perceive like what that is, but I don't know.
That is a little creepy or awesome, depending on how you look at it. Yeah, but strange. Wow, well done. Maybe cool. the power of Detroit is strong in you. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, it's exactly 200 million, according to the studies that popped up when this question came about. So, wow. All right. So basically you need to start a sidekick company and proclaim your prophecies from now on. Got a couple left here. What animal best personifies you?
Probably like, I don't know, probably like a raccoon or a squirrel.
And why is that?
I don't know. I just feel like I really like raccoons, or I don't know. I feel like those animals are just kind of like aloof. They're kind of like, they don't like to be in your face. They're kind of like there and you're like, what's up? And then they're like, all right, that's enough. I'm out of here. I don't know.
Okay. Seems fair. That seems fair.
I don't know. But I like looking at both those. I noticed that all the squirrels in my yard are like black squirrels.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's a lot around here.
Yeah, it's something I've noticed since moving from Tennessee. Like the ones in Tennessee, they were all like brown or gray, but all the ones in my yard are black squirrels. So
yeah, I can't say I know the reason with the squirrel colors, the science of that. But all right, yeah. Last question: what's the best advice you've ever received from another musician?
I don't think I've received this advice like one-on-one. Like in other words, like I don't feel like someone has like told me like, hey, here's some advice. But since I've listened to like a couple podcasts that I like a lot, and I've heard like a lot of guys like different stories just about, playing music, hard times. I feel like maybe I think the advice is to like listen to it's funny, like the question is almost my answer. Is like
Hmm.
You should listen to advice, but you gotta like, but at some point, I feel like at some point you have to know when you need advice or what the advice is, because like
Mm,
sometimes like people give you advice all the time. I feel especially when you're younger, maybe like people just
mm,
there's stuff coming in, whether they're advising you to do things, and sometimes like that can like change your perception or something,
mm,
it can make you like
mhm,
make bad decisions. So I feel like
mm,
you need to like you should listen to advice, especially like from people that you respect a lot, You
mm,
should definitely listen to advice, but you also need to like trust your intuition, I think sometimes. I
mm,
think there's a such thing as bad advice, even when somebody's not trying to give you bad advice.
mhm, mhm.
I feel like I answered that in a roundabout way, but it's hard to explain. But
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's
trust your
definitely a
intuition.
balance.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of crazy people out there, so don't
Yeah.
listen to everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
yeah, because it's like, like I feel like sometimes like people tell you stuff like based on their own like experience. So like what is good for them might not be good for you. So it's like, yeah, you gotta like trust your own like intuition, I guess is what I'm saying.
Mhm.
Yeah, sometimes.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Oh no, I like that. Any last words on the new album? Anything else you'd like to say about the good stuff that's coming our way?
Yeah, I mean, I hope everyone checks out the new, I want everybody to check out the record. And even if, buy it, if you don't buy it, cool. Listen to it at least check it out. Check it out on, YouTube, Spotify, Tidal, whatever you listen to it on, just check it out, give it a listen. Hopefully you like it. Come to a show if you can come to a show. And
Mhm.
yeah, thanks to everybody that checks it out or checks us out live or.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, thanks so much, Ryan, taking the time today. We appreciate it and we look forward to the new music.
Yes, yes. Thank you. Have a
Yeah,
good day down
yeah.
there.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, yeah. You up there in Berkeley. Hey, I mean, I'm sure I'll see you at a show or something sometime.
Yeah, yeah. I
So
mean,
if I'll
I'm
see you, I'll
sure
be sure to
around.
say hey.
Yeah, yeah,
So
for
there,
sure.
yeah. Yeah, cool. Well, thanks for chatting, man. You have a good
Yep.
day.
You
Okay,
too.
take
Have a good
care.
one.
Bye-bye.
Bye.